Okay, welcome back to Three Steps to Secure Attachment Masterclass series. This is day 2, and we are all about alignment today. So this is a super exciting session. I'm going to share my screen so we can get to it to keep within that hour and a half time frame that we have. So let's get going here. All right. Present. Okay. And then I figure out how to get my, no, that's not working. Oh, how did I do it yesterday? Let me see. Huh. Ah, this is so tricky. Canva is so tricky. Whenever I try to present, it pauses my share, which is annoying. Oh, don't know how I did it yesterday. Can you guys see my slides? Can you let me know? I don't think you can, though. Huh. Why is this? Ah,
Kind of feel like that me situation of things. It's almost like I'm gonna prove we to you that now. I don't need to. I can see it. Arbonne actually does work, right? And now obviously like being a
okay. Okay, I think we've got it. Took us a minute, but we are here. So, okay, so let's get going. Before we get started, as always, make sure you have everything you need, water, a cup of tea. Just get cozy. This is your time to really be with yourself, to be with us, to be with this information, to do the work, to show up and make some real difference and change in your life. So remove those distractions, put your phone on airplane mode, be present and show up for yourself. Have that notebook to hand so you can take all the notes. And as always, we are going to set an intention together for this session, knowing that the theme is all about alignment, aligning ourselves with our future, with where we want to go, with the relationship that we want to cultivate for ourselves, whether it is currently present in your life or not. We can really think about where we want our relationship to go because it starts with us and we get to lead ourselves in this way. So knowing that that is the theme, I want us to just close down the eyes for a moment together to place your hand on your heart. And first of all, just checking in with your body, with yourself, with your mind. Just noticing how you're feeling coming into day 2 today, into this session. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Just take a few deep breaths with us, just grounding, and then set that intention for this masterclass. Whether it's a certain outcome, a certain energy, and say it 3 times to yourself. Hmm. All right. And then come back into session with me. As always, like I said, whenever we set that intention, we can be more clear, more focused on why we do what we do. So we're not just being a reaction. As always, everything that you pop into the Facebook group, put hashtag live squad or replay squad so I know where you're at, if you're here with me or you are part of the replay squad. And the homework, yeah, you have until Sunday to complete all the homework for the 3 days to be in the running for those epic prizes that we have. And just a reminder of what they are. The first prize is a 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with myself. And the second prize is access to my mini course, Mastering Self-Trust. Woo, super exciting. And then if you want an extra prize draw entry, I would love to invite you to share this masterclass in any way, shape, or form that feels good for you on Instagram and to tag me. And I will personally show you out as well on my page, as well as give you that extra prize draw entry. Okay. Oh, a little quick announcement here, and my pictures are not showing up. That's sad, but never mind. A little quick announcement before we get going. If you are loving this masterclass series and you're already thinking about How can I go deeper with this work? How can I make that real, deep transformational change in my life? Then I want to let you know that we do have a new round of securely attached, our signature program, 12 weeks of group calls and a 9-module curriculum. So it's the whole shebang, everything that you need to go from anxious to secure. We are doing a new round starting in May. So if you want to have more information about this program, just comment secure in the chat, or you can just DM me if you're watching this on replay, or comment on the YouTube video, and I will personally DM you with more information about this program and put you on the wait list. So we'll be opening doors really soon. It's very exciting. Okay. So let's do a quick recap on day one. So day one was all about awakening the patterns keeping us stuck in those anxious self-abandoning cycles. So we looked a lot into our attachment styles, into that sabotaging behavior and beliefs that we may be carrying, so we can stop blaming ourselves and actually see this as our programming, as our wiring, as our conditioning, something that is not our identity, but just something that is happening within us, something that can be changed. That understanding our emotional wiring. Today, day two is all about alignment, making a intentional effort to craft that relationship vision and the values that we want to carry into that relationship as well, aligning ourselves, our relationship with our values, needs, and emotional truth. And then day three is all about anchoring. Tomorrow, we are going to anchor in that self-trust and emotional safety so you can stop chasing love and feel secure being fully you. Okay, so I just want to take a moment to do a little bit of a group check-in. I'm going to make this super fun. I want you to pop in the chat an emoji that's representing how you're feeling right now. So this could be about the masterclass, or it could just be about how you're feeling in general. So choose an emoji of your choice, and I'd love to see how you're feeling. I think my emoji would just be like that calm one, you know, the calm. I'm feeling very good, very calm in myself today, this morning. I've had a really lovely day yesterday. So let's see what you guys have put. Okay, Jessica's like, ooh. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's always good to do a check-in. This is something that I do with myself every single day, and I encourage all my clients to do, is to just check in with how you're feeling every morning, during the day, every evening. Okay, Sandra's a nice smiley face. That's wonderful, beautiful. All right. Okay, so before we dive into this super fun session, let's set the tone a little bit. So I'm sure you guys have heard of manifestation, intention, being able to create your reality. And there is some truth to that, but there's more than just kind of speaking out loud. We really have to feel that we are deserving of what we want to attract into our lives. And sometimes it's not even about attracting. I wrote a social media post about this the other day, that I didn't attract secure love. I actually just saw it for what it was because I wasn't fully seeing it. Because when we have an anxious attachment or an insecure attachment style, and we have trauma, and we have all these things happening, we're wearing a certain type of goggles. And that's how we see the world. We see our world through those lenses, through the beliefs that we're carrying. So if we're carrying a belief that we're not good enough, then we're going to attract things that are going to validate that belief that we have about ourselves, and maybe even experiences to validate that as well. Or when things do come into our lives and we don't believe that we're enough or that we're worthy, we're going to repel it. We're going to push it away because we don't feel worthy. We don't feel deserving. So when my current partner came into my life and he was presenting quite secure, and I was like not seeing it. I was like, I don't know what this is. This doesn't feel familiar. And I pushed it away because I didn't feel intrinsically, even though consciously I wanted it, subconsciously didn't feel worthy or enough. So when we have a vision for ourselves, whether it's your relationship, your career, your personal growth, I put some pictures here to represent all those things that I wanted to call into my life, and I managed to do that, which is a successful coaching business, trekking in Nepal, and a relationship, and just the person that I have become. This was the vision that I was carrying for so long for myself, but I was repelling it subconsciously. So our beliefs drive it. That's why it's important to reprogram the beliefs that we carry about ourselves, and our emotions fuel it. This is why it's important to do that nervous system regulation work, because even if we do believe that we're good enough, but we're struggling with anxiety and overwhelm, we're not going to be able to get ourselves into that grounded space to be able to fully focus and be present with what we're doing and taking that intentional action to make our dreams come true. So the vision guides it. When we have a vision of what we want, it guides it, but it's not the be all and end all. We have to do the work in order to create the vision and make it come true for us. Okay, so I wanted to start a little bit with where we're currently at when it comes to creating this vision and knowing what we want. So when I normally ask people, like, what do you want from a relationship? What do you want from a partner? And I want you guys to interact with me here a little bit as well in the chat. Like when someone says to you, what's your type? What are you looking for? I wonder what comes to mind. What I normally hear is things like, I want tall, dark, and handsome, right? It's all about the appearance and what they look like and how they're presenting on the external. I want someone who's kind. Well, that's a bit of the bare minimum. Of course, you deserve someone who's kind, taller than me, or bigger than me, or smaller than me, whatever it is. It's like I want someone in comparison to me to look different in some way, again, to the external. I want them to have good style. I want them to be attractive. I want someone to make me happy. Now, this is a clue that you are putting your key to happiness outside of yourself. This is called the arrival fallacy. This is something that is a cognitive distortion that we do as human beings, where we believe that as long as I get this thing, then I will be happy. If only my partner will stop being so avoidant and immature and just step up and do this and do that and do this, then I'll be happy. If only I could get that business or that career or that promotion, or if I hit that financial goal, then I'll be happy. But the sad truth is that when you do reach that space, when you do call in that partner who's emotionally secure, when you do hit that business goal or financial goal, you'll realize that it actually doesn't make you happy. It can give you a sense of gratification and joy in the moment, but then you're on to the next thing and on to the next thing. So happiness is something that is intrinsically created, a state of being. Someone who's funny, someone I vibe with. I love this gift. Like I'm big on vibes. As long as their vibe is good, everything's good. Someone I have chemistry with. Does any of this resonate with you ladies? But let me see what you guys have put in the chat. Sandra, someone emotionally available. Yeah. Bare minimum, right? Good communicator. But yeah, it can be quite difficult to find in today's society dating world. I totally recognize that. Jessica, honest, loyal, respectful, emotionally available. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, I want to go deeper with you guys on this session about what you actually do want to call in, because a lot of us do tend to allow chemistry to choose for us. We're not intentionally going out there really knowing what we deserve, what we desire, and actually what we need as well, because our needs are not a bad thing. If we're noticing that we do have a big need for connection, which a lot of us do, we need to feel connected in order to feel safe with this person. It is what it is. And if we have someone who's then not able, whether it's willing or haven't got the capacity to connect with us on the level that we need them to, then we need to consider whether it's a good match. But in the meantime, we're having all this stuff happening inside our body. The chemicals, which is where the word chemistry comes from, is raging through our body if we meet someone that we really like. And then the cortisol starts to kick in, and we have these explosive feelings of in our stomach, the butterflies, the flutters in our stomach, in our chest. We can't eat, we can't sleep. Oh my God, I think I found the one. I found my soulmate because I can't eat and sleep. And unfortunately, movies, music has romanticized this experience that we have. when chemistry is flooding our bodies. And now we have come to associate that with love. So when we don't feel that, then we think, oh, it can't be love because it doesn't feel this explosive. I don't have the butterflies. I don't have these like incredible sparks popping off everywhere. So maybe that's not the one for me. And again, you heard this yesterday in my story of this is how I felt towards my current partner. And this is all again about reprogramming the way that we see love, the way that we see relationships and what we actually want. Do we want a relationship that's going to dysregulate us? That a partner that's going to keep pulling away all the time, is that really what we want for our lives, no matter how much chemistry is happening between us? I hear this a lot, like I love him, I love her, like that's all that matters. But when you are in a dysregulated state, constantly having digestive issues, having overthinking spirals all of the time because they're not answering you for days, this is then sometimes the time moment we need to pull back and be like, okay, we need to balance this out with a little bit of compatibility. And this is what we're going to look at. Because when we are choosing a partner, these are the three main elements that we need to consider in order to be consciously choosing our partner and not allowing chemistry to choose for us. Because if we have that anxious attachment, best believe if you allow chemistry to lead the way, you're going to attract an avoidant partner. Now, I'm not saying that these relationships can't work or can't be beautiful, but it's going to be difficult, especially if you have a partner that's not willing to do the work on themselves, who's not even aware that they are avoidantly attached. So it's all about that conscious choosing. And maybe you are consciously choosing someone who's more avoidant. Then that's on you, right? To be able to see if it's really working for you. So when we're choosing a partner, we need to be thinking about our life vision. Where are we going in our lives? Where do we see ourselves living? What do we see ourselves achieving? Is this person aligned with that? I have a current client right now who's very sure that she wants to stay in her hometown. She doesn't want to move outside of her hometown for family and just it's her choice. And then she's meeting people, and if they're saying that they're going to move out of that hometown or that they're going to stay in their environment, which is about 3 hours away, then she needs to honor herself in that moment. This is an example, right? That she is staying true to herself by choosing to stay in her hometown because she has in the past left and gone to move outside of her hometown to just be with someone, and that resentment will build up. If you're making decisions, I have done this as well, guilty as charged. If you're making decisions based on someone else's life vision, that's self-sacrifice. I moved to Bangkok to be with a guy. And even though it was supposed to only be temporary, I was there for 2 years because I was there for him. I was not there for me. And the resentment that built up exploded at times where I would use it as a weapon against him when we would have an argument. And I'm like, I'm only here because of you. You should be grateful that I'm here. What do you do for me? And then all of that starts to spiral. And that's not fair on either party to be in that space. So when we are choosing a partner, how much are we willing to negotiate? Because yes, we need to compromise our life visions. It's not going to be exactly the same 100%. And this is where discernment starts to come in for you girls. Where am I? I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to negotiate and compromise on this because I feel like I'm doing this for me as well. Like this is somewhat in alignment with my life vision. Or when am I in that space of sacrificing myself? I really don't want to move to this place, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love him. That resentment will start to build and it will start to create in dis-ease in the body. So are you willing to put your health on the line for something like that? Your core values. We're going to touch upon this today. So are your core values in alignment? And an example I can bring up here is a guy I was dating in a situationship uh, connection. He was an atheist. At first, I thought that would be fine, right? As long as he doesn't get in the way of my spiritual beliefs and my spiritual practices, I thought that would be fine. But as the relationship went on, it started to really cause friction because I am a very spiritual being. I believe in God. I pray to God. I talk to God. I go to church now and again. I have my spiritual practices. And then I started to realize that this is actually a fundamental element of my being. This is who I am. This is who I choose to be. And now I've got this partner who's atheist, doesn't believe in anything, and he's rolling his eyes at me now every time I talk about this really important part of my life. And it was in that moment I decided I cannot be with someone who doesn't have some sort of spiritual beliefs. That's a value of mine. And this is how we start to notice and know our own values, is through knowing where the friction is when we are dating or when we are with people. And like I said, we're going to go into that a little bit more. And then the third one is your energy, the energy that you're presenting within life. So if it's an anxious energy, you might attract the more avoidant energy, because that is the parallel, because you're both seeking each other to fulfill each other, to complete each other, yin and yang. If you're presenting with a secure energy, you will then attract anything, that confident energy. If you're confident that you can get that, you will stay in your grounded space, a grounded energy, and you will be able to then focus and go ahead with that. So these are the three elements we need to consider when we are choosing a partner. And is your partner in alignment with your energy? And if you're really working on yourself and becoming the most secure, grounded version of yourself, but you're choosing a partner who is very ungrounded, very insecure, not confident in themselves, maybe using alcohol and drugs as coping mechanisms, and you're trying to move into a space where you're using breath work and yoga as your coping mechanisms, are your energies in alignment? So, yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about chemistry and compatibility. But before we do, I just want to take a moment to engage you guys. How are you feeling about all this so far? And what do you typically go to when you are dating? Do you normally lean into the more chemistry part, or is compatibility something that is in your awareness when you're dating? So share anything about your experience in regards to this. Because you know me, I always like things to be interactive. Okay. Jessica, I think I don't feel anxious, and then there is no spark. That's very true. So we have come to associate anxiety with the spark, with the butterflies, with the explosion, when really that's just cortisol flooding our system. I feel like my anxiety is a normal feeling. It can feel like that when we do go about life in with that low level anxiety hum, and then we feel these spikes throughout the day, and that then becomes our normal being. And unfortunately we can become addicted to cortisol, and it is about being able to bring in a different reality for you, a different, and so when we bring you down to a grounded state, it can feel unfamiliar, it can feel weird in a way, it can feel like, oh, I don't know about this, because I have been flooded with cortisol and been feeling anxiety for most of my life. And that's why we need to take it slow in resetting, not just regulating, but resetting your nervous system. Okay, Jessica, chemistry. Sandra, I used to be big on chemistry, but now compatibility is starting to take a first seat. Then chemistry. Yes, you make a great point, Sandra. It's not about now getting rid of chemistry. I'm not gonna, as long as I don't feel anything at all for that person, then I should choose them. No, it's about having both. And I'm going to explain what I mean in a moment. So, what does chemistry mean? It means that instant attraction, right? Those people that we meet on, the dance floor, we see online, and it's like, woof, instantly I'm attracted to this person. They're good looking, they've got a good body, and I've got that instant spark, this instant reigniting in the body. I love their energy, their vibes, they're coming at me and they're confident and they're a little bit sassy or quirky, whatever it is that you are looking for is like really soaking in that energy and vibes. And like I said, these are not bad things. This is just what chemistry is. We do need this element. We do need this element of physical attraction, of good energy, of physical affection. If someone is giving you lots of affection, especially if this is a love language of yours, I know that's mine. Love language is touch. all the affection. If you give me affection, that's going to make me lean in even more. So it could be then that touch and being able to share that with someone as well is being able to instill chemistry, especially women, anxiously attached women. We need to be careful at times of the intimacy that we give to our partners. If we give it too soon, that can cause premature attachment because as women, especially anxious women, we attach very quickly through sex, through physical intimacy. So we need to be aware of that, that that's happening and be able to be selective of who we're being intimate with, knowing that this is going to happen. Let me know if you've had these scenarios in your life where you've been physically intimate with someone and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, now I feel even more for them. I feel connected. I feel so connected, so intimate, so vulnerable. All of these things are happening, all popping off like popcorn inside my body. That excitement, the butterflies, those intense conversations as well can stimulate that chemistry of going deep with one another. Again, it's a level of intimacy and of that you're sharing with each other. Now let's look at compatibility. Compatibility means shared values, aligned life goals, similar lifestyles. So being compatible in these areas, being compatible in your communication style. So, for example, if you're someone who, you're working on becoming secure, you don't want to shout, you don't want to fight, you want to have, arguments, it's okay to disagree, and we're going to hear each other out. But if you're then choosing a partner who's constantly interrupting you or getting angry and or blaming you and shaming you and not being or not even be willing to communicate with you, is that a compatible match? And then that mutual respect and support. So when we are choosing someone who's not compatible with us, we are choosing instant gratification. We are choosing chemistry because it feels good in the moment. But if we allow ourselves to just take a step back and be like, but is this person really compatible? I'm going to share a story with a guy that I was my 2 year ex, and I'm not ashamed to admit that when I first met him, I lied a little bit about what my hobbies were, about who I was. So he was a musician, and I thought that I wanted to be the perfect person for him, the perfect partner. So I kind of said that I was a musician. And I used to play the flute in school, but only a basic beginner. And I remember meeting him and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a musician too. I play the flute. I got my music tattoo, I'm totally into it. And he's now thinking, wow, we're so compatible. We're both musicians. And then he buys me a flute for my birthday. I'm like, oh dear, how am I going to get out of this one? And I can play the flute, but like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is probably the best I can do. So I'm now starting to have a go at this flute, being like, yeah, let me just show him how amazing I am at the flute. And I remember his face. He looked at me, he was like, and it was that realization that I had exaggerated the truth, saying that I could like play the flute when in reality I could only just do a few notes. But he was good. He was like, okay, I'm gonna buy you a music book and you can, pick it back up and we're gonna be great. We're gonna play music together and everything's gonna be great. But this is the thing, I didn't want to play the flute. I didn't want to play music. It was not something that I wanted to do. But I did it for him. I did it because I could see that he really wanted a partner you could play music with. But as time went on, I started to resent it. Every time he's like, okay, come on, let's go do practice together. Oh, and I would start an argument. I would sabotage in that moment just because I didn't want to play the flute. And remember when we were having our conscious uncoupling, this was one of the things that he brought up. He's like, I thought that we were really compatible because you told me you liked to play the flute. You told me that you wanted to live in Bangkok. You told me this, you told me that. When really you didn't. So then he was realized in that moment we are not compatible at all. So we need to stay true to ourselves when we are dating, when we are entering into relationships. And sometimes it's okay to disagree. Sometimes it's okay. Everybody's level of compatibility is different. For example, if I really love trekking, but if my partner didn't love trekking, now I need to ask myself, is this a deal breaker for me? Is it in my vision that I am doing all the trekking with my partner? Or can I go ahead and do it with a friend, which is what I do, right? I go trekking with friends. I go hiking with friends. Not saying that my partner never does. He is interested, but he's not as interested as me. So it's not a problem. Again, coming back to that discernment, is it becoming a problem? Because the deeper we get into relationships where we start to talk about children, we start to talk about settling, we start to talk about money. How are we spending our money? Are we compatible in that way? If you're a saver and you're with someone who's a big spender, there's going to be a lot of arguments. Now, that's not a deal breaker necessarily, but how can you work together to create compatibility? How can you work together to meet yourself in the middle? So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that, my loves. Okay, so yes, I agree on the physical aspect. Yeah. Welcome back, Antonella. No worries. All right. So yes, we've been talking about chemistry and compatibility for a moment. So if we have high chemistry and low compatibility, it's probably not going to work. Why? Because feeling intensely attracted to someone, but finding that your values, your goals, and your lifestyles are misaligned is only going to result in frequent conflicts, self-abandonment, and misunderstandings. Now, like I said, we can create compatibility, but both people need to be working on this. You need to be working on meeting each other in the middle and also bringing that discernment in that neither partner is self-sacrificing or abandoning for the other person. If we have high compatibility and low chemistry, this is also not good because we may share many values and goals with someone. You may recognize this in your life where you went on a few dates with that guy and he just seemed perfect. He seemed like you shared all the good, the right things. You wanted to do all the things that were similar, but you are really lacking that spark or physical attraction. I get this a lot with my clients that are moving into secure attachment. Is like, I've met this really great guy. We're very much in alignment in our compatibility, but I'm not physically attracted to him. We need to honor that. Attraction is important. If you're feeling repelled with the thought of going to bed with this person, don't force yourself to do that. Just to try to create some chemistry or connection. So, if we do follow that road, it may lead us into a feeling of feeling platonic with this person rather than a romantic relationship. And sometimes it will naturally fizzle itself out. Or if it does get to the point where you're marrying someone with high compatibility, low chemistry, there is a slight chance, and I'm just going off of research, that there will be adultery happening in that relationship, either on your end or the other, because you're missing that important element of attraction. So the next person you will be attracted to, more likely to lean into that because there's an unmet need, not because you're a bad person or they're a bad person, but because there's an unmet need. So we need a good, healthy balance of chemistry and compatibility. If we're leaning too much into chemistry, this is what can happen. We could start to try to change our partner, especially if we're with an avoidant who really values and needs acceptance. And when we're going in trying to change and fix them, that can push them away. We try to change ourselves, just like in my story, trying to be that perfect partner. We try to force it to make it work. We cling on to the fact that we love each other and we're really going to try to force this to work because it has to. I cannot lose this person. Again, coming back to those deep-rooted fears and wounds that are activated within yourself of why you're trying to force it to work. Is it a lack mentality that you don't think you'll find anyone better than this person? Or it'll fizzle out. Like I said, there'll be constant arguments, conflict, friction in the relationship. We were wanting to get it back to where it was. So if you have a lot of chemistry, first of all, like that honeymoon period, the explosive, and we're addicted to those cycles, we're addicted to those highs and lows, like we get so much thrill out of it. And then the relationship starts to mellow, and then we feel bored. We don't feel attracted to them anymore. We feel like we need some excitement and some stimulation. And again, it's all about that cortisol addiction that might be happening in the body. And we try to get it back to where it was. And this is when people, I don't want to label any type of attachment style to this, but people will start to sabotage by creating drama. because I'm bored, things are going well, and I need to create some excitement, make up, break up. And we start to create drama, we start to pick at each other, we start to nag, we start to have these little tiffs, maybe becoming strangers to each other. We don't actually really know each other. We've just leaned into each other in a very intense way. It's all been very physical. And actually, I don't really think I know this person really on the inside. Or we may be feeling out of alignment. Have you ever had that feeling where it's just something's not clicking? I just feel like life is just not flowing. It's quite hard. Life feels hard. Life feels a struggle. And you can recognize this in other areas of life as well, like work. And this is a big sign that you're just out of alignment or you're just doing something for a purpose that's outside of yourself. So in the work example, it would be I'm just working for money, but you're not happy. Or in the relationship, I'm just in the relationship because I want to be in a relationship. I want a partner. I don't want to be alone. And then we feel out of alignment. We feel like it's hard. Okay, so we want a balance of both. We want that initial spark, but also long-term potential. We want that emotional connection, but also practical alignment. We want that physical attraction, but also lifestyle harmony. Now, I know you're probably thinking, I can probably read your mind right now, and you're like, oh my God, it sounds amazing, but I don't even think that's even possible. Like, where do I even start to find that? I've been looking. I cannot find someone who's giving me an initial spark and long-term potential and all these things that you're just mentioning. Like, this seems really tough. And I'm not going to beat around the bush here, guys. It can be difficult. It can be difficult to find someone with this balance, but it's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible. But what I will say that is if you are subscribing to thoughts and beliefs that I'm never going to find someone where I'm going to feel this balance of chemistry and compatibility, then you won't because you've already set that tone that you won't because you're saying I'll never find it. When you start to believe that this is possible, it will come into your life, I promise you. And the more that you work on not prioritizing chemistry so much, working on those attachment wounds that are being driven by chemistry, the more compatibility is going to take a front seat, just like Sandra said. Compatibility is going to guide you rather than chemistry. Okay. Another thing I just want to eradicate is I hear it a lot. My mother says it a lot. You can't help who you fall in love with. Well, actually, you can help. You can help who you fall in love with. You can be intentional and you can be conscious about who you're choosing. You are an energetic match. It is as simple as that. You are an energetic match. So if you're going out there intentionally, being secure within yourself, you are then going to be a match for that. And even if you're attracting someone who's not quote unquote secure, they will feel that energy and they will either one be repelled by it because they're not ready, or two, they will be invited to level up with you and they will be ready to level up and they will meet you where you're at. But as long as you stay there and you don't bring yourself down to that back to that anxious space because they're avoidant and they're bringing you down. No, we need to be able to keep ourselves in that level of an energetic match. The more secure you become within yourself, you will change what you are attracted to. Not so much like, I feel like when I say on my social media, like, and then attract that secure partner, it's like someone's imagining I'm just going to be a magnet and all these secure men are just going to come out of the woodwork and gravitate towards me. When actually it's the other way around. The more secure you become, the more attracted you become to secure traits. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat and if you have any questions. All right, so let's get into the work, guys. So grab your paper and pen. I'm going to sip of my very healthy tea because I'm swapping it for coffee. I've got the like apple cider vinegar kind of drink. If anybody has ever tried that, it's very, very good for you. Apple cider vinegar, lime, honey, a little bit of honey, and cinnamon. It's so good. Very, very good. Try it out. Okay. So let's get going with your values. Let me know in the chat. Just give me a simple yes or no. Do you know what your values are? Chemistry was a huge in my past, very little compatibility. Perfect. Jessica, Sandra, you know what your values are. Wonderful. So this will be just a more advanced self-exploration. And if you want to share what your values are, please pop them in the chat. But let's start here on your core values because I had no idea what my values were. I remember a friend asked me once, like, well, I was dating this guy and everything, well, all the things. And she said, but it doesn't seem in alignment with your values. Like, do you know what your values are? And I remember thinking, I actually don't. I don't know what my values are. They are there. We just need to be conscious of them. So jot down in your book or in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on replay, what values are absolutely essential to your life? What is like spirituality for me, right? I've come to notice like it is absolutely essential. It's almost like I can't help it. It's just there. I cannot be with someone who is not spiritual. It is now a non-negotiable for me. What are your values? Is it fitness, right? Do you value fitness? And now you don't feel like you can be with someone who doesn't value fitness or value honesty or value integrity. So, what values are absolutely essential for you to live a whole, fulfilling life? What values represent your primary way of being? So, when you look at who you are, how you're going about your day-to-day life, how you are in work, how you are in your personal life with your family, what values represent your primary way of being? For example, for me, the core one here in response to that question would be presence. I really value presence in people. This is my primary way of being in my work and in my personal life. If I can notice, I know very quickly if I'm with a client, if I'm with a friend, if I'm with my partner, and they're not present with me. I notice it, and I don't like it. It's misaligned with my values, and I say like I don't feel like you're not being present with me right now. What's up? What's going on? This is a value that I really respect. So if I'm now choosing someone who really struggles to be present or chooses not to be present, then that will start to get in the way. Or they're ignoring me or they're interrupting me because they're not really present. They're in their minds. So, yeah. Third one, what values are essential to supporting you to live life fully? Like I said, what values are essential to supporting you to live life fully, not just survive, not just get through life, but fully. Is it security? In order for me to feel like I can live a full life, I need to feel secure. I need that stability. I need routine. This is one of mine, right? I need routine, but also on the other hand, I need freedom. In order to live life fully, I need to feel like I have full freedom over my time, over my finances. And this is why I started a business because it fulfilled that value for me. I need that in my relationships too. I need to be able to have the freedom to be myself, to be able to go and do my own things, to be able to have my own hobbies. So hopefully you've got some few ideas of what's coming up for you. There's so many different lists of core values online if you are really struggling and need some support. But I'm also just going to give you a few examples of mine. I've already mentioned some. Stability is a value of mine. So this doesn't mean now that I need marriage and a mortgage, but stability can mean routine. It can mean routine. It can mean habits. It can mean a home or at least just because when I say digital nomad, I'm not flatting about the world. Like, no, I need to be grounded at least for 3 months at a time sometimes. I need that stability in order to live life fully. Freedom, massive for me. I need to be able to travel. Significance, I need to feel significant to my partner. This is a value of mine. I value and a need to feel significant. If I don't feel like I'm important to you, I'm not an important part of your life, that's not going to work for me. I need to be considered in your decisions. Presence, peace. Big one now while I'm here now in my chapter of life. I never used to have this value, and this is the thing, our values can change all of the time depending on where we're at in life. Peace is a massive one for me. I went to Nepal, as you girls know, a while back, and I recognized that it was not in alignment with this big value of mine. It was just peace. I need peace. I need a home that is peaceful. I need relationships that are peaceful. Of course, we're going to come up with challenges, but can I be able, I've cultivated a lot of inner peace and I can tap into that when my external is getting a little bit out of whack in chaos. Presence, intimacy, spirituality, authenticity. I also recognize when someone's not being their authentic selves. I can sympathize now because I know that when we're not our authentic selves, it's because we're in pleasing or proving or perfectionism, traumas at play here, but I can invite people to be more authentic in themselves. And it is a value that I value in myself. I need to be my authentic self. If I'm trying to be someone else, that's not going to work for me. Nature, big thing as well. I need to live in nature. So it's important to know what our values are when we are looking for our life partner. You're welcome to share yours in the chat. Let's see what you guys have come up with. Jessica, spirituality, communication, trust, commitment. Honor that value. You value commitment. And I think a lot of us who get trapped in situationships, sometimes we are shamed for wanting commitment. Like, why do you want this label? Why do you want commitment? Can't we just go with the flow? I'm sorry, Jonathan, but that's not going to work for me anymore. I value commitment. I may not really get to know why in that moment that I'm expressing this, but it is a value of mine. Why is it important? Because it makes me feel secure. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel important. Whatever it is, right? Don't have to over explain your values either. Sandra, faith, fitness, integrity, be trustworthy, kind, compassionate, wonderful. Antonella, compassionate, present, caring, committed, presence. Yeah. Safe, security, freedom, independence. Yes. Love it. And how are you feeling while you're putting all these values together for yourself? Another way to explore our values is when things feel off, right? Whether we're dating, in relationship, or in work, or any part of our lives, things feel off. Ask yourself these questions. You can screenshot them or you can jot them down, come back to the replay. Am I living my life right now in alignment with my values? So when I was in Nepal, I felt off. And I even got a little bit sick when I came back to Thailand. And I remember thinking, things feel off. What's happening? I don't think I'm living my life right now in alignment with my values. Yes, I'm traveling, I've got the freedom, but I don't have the peace. I don't have the stability. Nepal is a very chaotic country. I'm not living my life in alignment with my values right now. When you're with someone, is this person allowing me to live within my values? Is this person allowing me to have, be my full authentic self and express my values and live out my values, my spirituality, to be present? Or are they shaming me for it? Are they shaming me for the fact that I go to the gym every day because I value fitness? Are they shaming me for having a strong faith? And does their values match up with mine? Like I said, having that discernment, whether it's a make or break, a non-negotiable, or something that is up for compromise. Only you can answer that question. And only you can notice if you are in a state of self-abandonment. Big sign is if you're feeling resentful in self-abandonment. So are their values matching up to mine? All right. Okay, so Jessica, I'll get to your question in a moment. So let's keep going a little bit. Actually, let me answer it now before we go into the vision. What if you are living your values and they are allowing you, but their values don't match? Great question. Again, come back to, is this something that I can live with? Okay, so if you can give me what you mean, that would be great, but I'll use an example. If you're living your values of going hiking every week, okay, faith. So they're allowing me to go to church, they're allowing me to do my prayers, they're allowing me to do all my things, but they don't want to come. They're not a believer, or they're not Christian, or they're not spiritual in any way. Are you okay with that? Maybe you are. Maybe you're absolutely fine with it. That is amazing, right? Then you have your community where you go to church and then you meet up with them afterwards for lunch. Fantastic. But is it important to you to the point that this is something you want to share with someone, right? Is this something you do want to do with your partner? And in my case, I used to think it was fine. But then I had this experience with this guy who he used to roll his eyes at me every time I talked about God. Like, that's not something that was okay with me anymore. I didn't want to be seen as someone who was silly just because I had a faith. How is this making you feel? If someone is, if they're not saying anything and they're allowing you, and you feel good about that, amazing. It doesn't necessarily mean that if your values are not in alignment, that it's a no-go. It's a non-negotiable. But some things to think about, right, with faith as well, that I was thinking about. When you have children, if you plan to have children and you want them to be christened or baptized or a part of the church, how much is your partner going to be okay with that? Are they going to be like, no, I don't want my child to be christened or baptized or part of the church? Is that going to be okay with you? So we sometimes need to think about that long-term potential, about whether these values, they may be matching right now. Is it going to continue to match in the future as things start to change in your life? I hope that helps. Let's get cracking into your vision. Now, you can be as creative as possible here, my loves, or you can just jot it down. Spend some time really creating a vision board, and I'm going to share mine with you in a moment. It could be a digital one. You could create it. Like this is the really fun aspect of creating a vision. And the more invested you are in it, the more you will be connected to it. So when it comes to crafting your vision, we're not going to spend like obscene amounts of time here because we want to keep it in our time frame. But something you can screenshot here or come back to is all these different areas of life, right? And what your vision is in all these different areas. And maybe you don't know yet, and that's okay. This is where you can be. I'm working on crafting my vision. Maybe you just want to focus on one slice of this pie. I'm just going to focus on relationships right now and what my vision is there. Because I don't really know. Oh, I am set on my career. I don't really know about my intellectual. Maybe I'll study again in the future. I'm not sure. But right now, my focus is relationships. That's amazing. You don't have to be all in the know about what you want to create, what your vision is in all these different areas of life. Because again, it can always change. It can always change. So maybe you just want to focus on one, maybe you want to focus them on them all. And really thinking, wait, let me see what the next slide is. Yes, it's just another breakdown of all these different areas. So what does your dream life and relationship look like? Now, I'm going to take you through a little visualization exercise to create your vision in your subconscious mind. And you can do this for all areas, but for the purpose of this masterclass, we are going to do relationships. So I want you to do this with me, or maybe if you're busy right now, come back to it and give yourself the space and time and presence to do this with yourself. Okay, so I want to invite you to close down the eyes. Just get really comfortable in your chair, feeling into your body, noticing your breath, noticing any sounds or smells around you. So we're grounding into our present moment before we come into our subconscious. You want to just check in with the body. There's a big element of vision casting or manifesting is all about how you feel about your vision. So just anchor yourself into the body by bringing your attention and presence onto the breath. And we're going to slow down the breath a little bit together with 3 deep belly breathing. So we're going to inhale through the belly, moving it up into the chest and hold there for a moment. And exhale through the mouth. This is a signal for our nervous system to ground, to calm. And again, breathing in through the belly, moving it up through the chest. Hold for a moment. And exhale. All that stress, all that tension out of the body. One more, breathing in through the belly, up into the chest. Hold for a moment. And exhale. Okay. And another thing I want you to notice as we're doing this, any of those niggling, limiting beliefs that might come in. So as you're creating your vision, that belief of like, yeah, right, this isn't going to happen. Just note it. Don't attach to it. Don't allow it to take over. your experience. Just note it as something separate to you. Oh, that's interesting. I just had a thought that I might not believe that this might be happening for me. Okay, let me just note it for now and carry on with my vision. So I want you to imagine being in an environment where you feel so good in yourself and safe. This could be in the mountains, on the beach, in your home. Don't bring the relationship element into it yet. It's just you. First and foremost, the relationship with you is the most important. Be in this environment, ground into this environment. Imagine what would it feel like to be in this really safe environment where you would be able to touch and see and smell and hear. So subconscious is a very powerful part of ourselves. It doesn't know the difference between ultimate reality and perceived reality. So we can almost brainwash ourselves into believing that we are here in this space, in the mountains, on the beach. And just take a few moments to adjust to your environment. And now I want you to imagine your ideal partner, your dream partner coming in. Now I want you to pay less attention to how they look and more attention to how you feel. As they're walking towards you and smiling, how do you feel? And as you're observing any interaction between you two, just observe the interaction of how you deserve to be treated by this person, deserve to be greeted by this person. And how they are with you. Respectful, kind, maybe giving you gifts. Is that's your love language and your value? But as you're observing the interaction, just grounding in how you feel. Do you feel safe? Do you feel joy, excitement, contentment? Bringing in your values, your needs that we worked on yesterday. Just imagine aligned values, being able to have a partner that supports you with your needs. And as you're in this moment, tapping into how you feel, just noticing any thoughts, beliefs, sensations that might be coming in. These are all clues, all information as to what might be blocking you. And then lastly, I want you to repeat the following mantras. You can either do it in your mind or out loud, placing a hand on your heart, and repeat after me. I am worthy of this. I am worthy of this. I deserve this. I deserve this. I get to create this. I get to create this. Again, noticing how you feel as you speak that out loud. Everything is only information for us to get curious. Take another big deep breath and then open your eyes and join me back here. Just taking a moment with yourself to notice how you feel. Taking these moments to write anything down in your notebook that came up for you. Or maybe you want to share it in the chat with us all. Jessica offers us a beautiful suggestion, writing down 5 things you want, 5 things you deserve, and 5 things you must have. Yeah, I love that. When you think about your values and vision. Beautiful. Oh, okay. I'm sharing my vision with you guys here, but for some reason it's not coming up. So I'm just going to see what I can do about that. Okay. All right. Oh, why is it not coming up? Oh, that's sad. Oh, technology. Let's see if I can. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, it's my screensaver, so I'll just show you from there. There it is. Mind all the little things, if you can see it. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. But just bring it. No. Okay. All right. So maybe I'll just have to keep my vision board. No, wait, it might be here. Okay. Anyway, so it was just an example I wanted to show you guys. Something that you could create for yourself, either digitally or on paper. Hmm. Ah, here we are. Maybe if I just bring it up. There we go. Can you see my screen? I think you can. Let me know if you cannot. Um, this is my vision board for 2025. I create one every year because, like I said, our values and our vision is always changing. So I have, it's very much the theme of groundedness because it was a vision of mine to be more grounded this year. Peace and nature, meditation, because what does peace mean? What does peace bring you? My business, like my relationship, like me being the center of my world is what that means. Friendships. So I would love to invite you to create a vision board that makes you feel so good about your life presently and where you are going. Now, your vision board could actually represent where you're at in life right now and the things that you want to keep. So this is my vision board. I would love to invite you to create one as well. Okay, let me come back to the slides. Okay, so if we really give ourselves the time, energy, and space to do this, this is what could happen. Like I said, everything that I teach you, I teach my clients as well, and I invite my clients to go through the process in a deeper way because we have more time and energy with each other. But this is what can happen. You will start to meet someone. This is my client here. I met someone so organically who feels so aligned with me this week. And it proves that I'm stepping more into alignment every time because she was so aware and conscious of her values, her truth, her desires. And she was also attracting money as well, that she was telling me down here. Another client of mine was so happy to be able to have realized his values. He actually framed them and kept them in his bedroom so that he could see it every single day of what it meant to stay true to his values, to his vision. And then another client here is where we were dealing with a lot of blocks, a lot of limiting beliefs that she was having because she didn't believe that she could have the things that she wanted because of her upbringing, because of her conditioning. And we really needed to break through those blocks so she can start to believe that she is deserving and willing. She has the potential to make her big dreams a reality. So she decided rather to not dream, therefore, she won't be disappointed, keeping herself safe. But after the first session, she found that her dream, her goals, the path, and how to get there. And it didn't seem so scary anymore. And this one's not showing up, so that's okay. So, this is your homework for today, for day 2, is to craft your get very clear on your values first and foremost, and then craft your vision. Now this could be as creative as you want, or it could be just as Jessica offered us as well, just writing down those 5 things you want, that you desire, that you deserve, that you want to have as well. And so share one takeaway as much as you want or as little as you want in the Facebook group on the homework post that is pinned. You have to complete all 3 days to be entered to win the prize. Your deadline is Sunday, and I will, if you would like me to, coach you a little bit in the comments as well. All right, so that's it for session 2, day 2. So I'm going to leave a little bit of time for questions if we have any. And so, yeah, and let me know how you're feeling as well about this session, about day 2. So we're really kind of bringing the 2 elements into our existence right now, really understanding where we are, which was yesterday, and really understanding where we are going and believing that we are worthy and deserving of it because you are. It is all about aligning your energy with what you want to call in. Okay. Jessica, I did this. It was eye-opening. How did you make this vision board? Canva. So you can use Canva, and I just used my own photos, and also there's like an app integrated into Canva that where you can access stock photos, so you can use that as well. Antonella, I have a vision board. I did it on holidays. Yes. Oh my gosh, vision board. Creating a vision board when you're in a good space is the best for sure when you're on holiday. Amazing. Okay, so if there are no questions, we will leave it there. My replay squad, if you do have any questions to follow up, you can always drop them in the comments of the YouTube video or in the Facebook group as well. All right. Thank you, Antonella. It is lovely for us all to be together. Sandra, no, thank you. Enjoy your evenings, my loves. And I'll see you same time tomorrow for the final session. Don't miss this one. It's going to be so good. It's going to be all about anchoring in self-trust and everything that we've learned so far. So we're going to be integrating this work. So yes, I'll see you same time tomorrow. Thank you, Alexia. Bye-bye.